Okay.
Oh, got an email, so. You got talking to me.
Then you just close that down, so it's on YouTube. And then come back here and record. Okay.
Be right with you. It's not 16, yes, it is.
Yeah, I know.
Go ahead and begin it again. Okay. Ready to go? All right, I call this meeting of the Select Board to order at 6 p.m. on May 27th. Terry has advised me that she doesn't expect Sue to be here tonight, and if she does come, she's obviously gonna be late. So pledge of allegiance. How would our new town administrator like to lead us in the pledge?
Loves you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. So, I guess I'd like to say, for the benefit of the public, which is rather skimpy. I'd like to welcome you to your first select board meeting
Thank you.
and hope it's not your last.
Me too.
Me too.
Is there a motion regarding the minutes of May 8th, 13th and 20th?
I move we approve the minutes from May 8th, 13th and 20th.
I'll second that. Further discussion? I actually have a question. So does that catch you up with everything through
Yeah.
tonight?
Yes,
So from now on, that duty shifts over to, okay.
she's typing away.
Yeah, and we do have money in the budget, if we can find somebody
Yes, if we could find someone.
to hire that
Yeah, we should send it out on the listserv again. I sent it
Yeah.
out once.
to
And
take minutes. Cause we recognize that it's very hard for you to participate or Terry to, right, and try to take minutes at the same time
Okay.
and, so, just bear that in mind.
Okay.
Public comment for items not on the agenda. Oh, you have,
No, vote,
huh?
vote.
Oh, yes. All those in favor? Yeah. 2-0, sorry. Public items for, public comment for items not on the agenda. Rachel is here, but I don't see her. Okay, seeing none.
Good evening.
Adjustment,
I have nothing to add to the agenda. Thank you.
well, no, it's been public comment, but that's okay. Just to the agenda, I would like to make an announcement regarding the congressionally directed spending grant application that was submitted to Representative Pingree's office. And I believe Jen and Terry want to talk to us about a letter from Maritime regarding possibly locking in on heating fuel for next winter. Next one, who's talking about next winter? So we can add those two items. I'm gonna jump around here and I'm gonna go to Chris Gamage. And we had said a few meetings ago, we should have Chris come in and kind of give us a little update on how he's faring and what's doing and do you feel like we need any support from us and so on and so forth. So I guess I personally would just like to start off with how's it going and is the job what you expected?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
are you learning much? And
Yeah,
just give us a little overview of what's been happening.
I've had a couple classes with county EMA, with Candace Richards, the county EMA director. She's kind of bringing me up to speed on like what the position does and what EMA really does. It's a whole lot of back end stuff, you know, disaster relief and storms basically. Last winter was pretty minor.
Yeah.
So it wasn't really a whole lot unlike the year before last. I've got a class coming up in July with Maine EMA, for county level or for town level EMA directors that I'll be attending. It's just helping with like preparedness and grant writing and stuff like that. I asked for an update from her for tonight for the EMA grants that Betty had done, and she said she has no update. So my update for you is I have no update. That's all based off of Trump's FEMA stuff that he's doing. Other than that, I don't really have much for you.
Okay. I do have a couple of questions. Betty used to send, I think she sent them to you, the weather forecasts.
Yeah.
And I think people liked them a
They did,
lot.
they loved them.
They came out of National Weather Service.
Yeah.
Not every day, but when there was something pending.
Like something big.
Is that something that we could reinstate?
Yeah.
There's a couple of people have said to me, oh, what happened to those, all you gotta do is, I don't know where she got them. Maybe you know.
I don't know, she was.
Maybe county, you know, is where she got them.
Yeah, I think county EMA
Yeah,
distributes them.
yeah, she'll send me an email like with like flood warnings or.
Yeah, so all Betty did was send them, click to Terry,
Okay.
and then Terry sent them out on our
The town's email list.
email list, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
People
actually,
really like that.
yeah, I've actually had 3 people say, what happened to those?
Okay, yeah, I can do that.
And,
Just a couple of clicks, I think I can handle that.
yeah, well, I say that, but.
I'll figure it out.
And I was talking the other day, I think we need, I just realized I don't have your phone number, I don't know if you do.
No, I don't.
No.
And I think the 3 of us should have it, and,
Yeah.
and actually, you had to kind of scramble to find it in the office, right? I mean, they had it, but it wasn't like on the wall where you know, hear me or something, so. I feel like with the new town administrator, you should have her number and vice versa.
Yeah.
And then if you could borrow numbers to the 3 of us,
Absolutely.
and I assume David, the director of the fire department, the EMS have it because of your connections there, obviously, so.
Yep.
One of those minor things that you don't think about until all of a sudden you're looking for someone's phone number.
And it's 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, exactly. I don't have his phone number, so.
Rachel has her hand raised, I don't know if she has a question.
Yes, go ahead if you want.
Okay, thanks. I'm interested in how coordinated you are in terms of response systems with others at other levels of government. I don't know municipal government very well, but my question is, sounds like you're linked into the county for warnings and that's great. But how does the coordination work in terms of emergency response? And if there's too long to answer that question, I want to just peg it as a question from a public servant. I'm interested in that question because I've worked on that and that can be really good. So that's my question. Over.
So I guess as far as emergency response on the county level, everything is routed through Knox Regional Communication Center in Rockland, which is our communication hub for the county. And then from there, it's dispersed by the town. We have pagers, and we also have I Am Responding, which is an app that the fire and EMS, each individual town has, and it gives us all the information on it. As far as like EMA based or disaster response is considered, everything goes to the county EMA director, and then she relays information to us that way. But if it were like a storm, or there was a bunch of trees down with a bunch of power outages, and I needed to open the warming shelter or cooling shelter, however you want to look at it, I would reach out directly to her and she would help set up that. We have 11 volunteers now for the warming shelters, and there's 2 captains of that. And then it's basically up to me or Cheyenne, the deputy director, to reach out to those folks.
Great. Thank you very much. Sounds great. Appreciate it.
No problem.
Jeff?
Yeah, and just to follow up on that, our plug-in, Rachel, is the county, and the county actually manages disaster relief for the whole county. Our EMA director then reports to the county. If they're gonna stand up an emergency cell or a command post, it would be at the county, using Knox County Communications as part of the hub for that.
Thank you.
And any reimbursements and stuff typically go through the county as well, and they kind of aggregate it
Yeah.
countywide as opposed to each town, each individual little small town doing it, so.
Super.
I did have a couple questions. Have you had a chance to get into the policies and the SOPs, our town
I have
policies
some
and
of it.
SOPs?
A lot of it was like outdated and there was like 7 different copies in the binder, so I've had to
That's why I
separate.
asked the question.
I had to go through it and like weed out the old ones and the new ones, and there was, page 23 and page 44 is here and there. Yeah, so it's been an organizational task, if you will. The binder's about this thick and only needs to be about that thick, so.
Well, I'll volunteer my help if you need any
Okay.
assistance with those, because I'm pretty familiar with
Okay,
those stuff.
sounds good.
Yep.
I had one additional question that it reminded me. So we do not have an overnight shelter in town.
Correct.
Our overnight shelter is still the south end, not the south end school, but the Irish U 13 middle school, right in the south end of Rockland, is that correct?
Yep.
Yeah, South School's gone, isn't it, or?
I still call it South School, but yeah. I still-
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, one of them.
So, well, we do have two, quote, warming shelters, correct? Is that,
Yeah. we've
one
got
is the church in
Guilford
Sprucehead
School
and the
Sprucehead.
Guilford Violet?
Yeah. Prefer it to
And,
be Guilford Butler
Hmm?
School, but we prefer it to be the Guilford Butler.
sure, and we have a generator there. What do we do? Did Betty have a generator that,
Not at the Sprucehead Church.
so what do we do there for power?
There's a generator.
Is there one there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is there? Yeah, okay. Alright, okay. Does it, and I've always wondered, does it make sense to have two? But I suppose if there's 16 trees down between here and there.
Right.
Yeah.
It does make sense, so.
Yeah. But then it also comes down to, if we have to open both, it comes down to staffing.
Yeah,
I did talk with David and he's willing to give up some of the fire department or EMS group, we can get anybody else in to do that, but then when you do that, you're paying people instead of having volunteers.
Yeah.
So I'd rather not do that route if I have to, which is why the team and I guess have focused more or less on Guilford
Yeah.
Butler School and just having one location.
okay. And, so, and the volunteers really should be on our volunteer insurance list too.
Probably should,
We tend to update that once a year, is it?
Yeah. but I can add it at any time.
Yeah,
Just send us a bill.
Our insurance provides very minimal insurance for someone who's a volunteer, and if they cut their hand and have to go to the hospital, or don't have health insurance or something. Cause if they're true volunteers and not being paid,
Right.
they're not entitled to workers' comp,
Right.
so. So, and we tend to let that list get stale, and then we scramble around, get caught up again, and then it gets stale again.
Mhm.
And it isn't just you, it's anybody who volunteers at the Guilford Butler, on the tennis courts, whatever, but it's hard to keep up with
It
that.
is.
But it's certainly to the volunteers' benefit, or could be.
If you can send the list to Jen.
Yeah, sure.
We'll.
Yeah, now a lot of the volunteers are the same volunteers that
They might
volunteer.
already be on the list.
Yeah.
I probably don't, I haven't had any new ones, I've tried, but I haven't got any luck.
Yeah,
I've got a flyer I wanna put out here on the bulletin board out front there, but.
Yeah.
We'll see if it gets any.
and any announcements you wanna make, you are aware that you can go through the town administrator to. I shouldn't say any announcements, she has the authority to look it over, it depends on what you want to announce. So that's a communication tool.
Okay.
For with the citizens and stuff, so.
Okay.
And speaking of that, Betty was working on. What was that program that? I feel like it never got,
It was text. I thought it was all running. We just haven't had anything to announce.
Right.
did we ever get more
The
than
phone,
20 people to sign up for it though?
No, probably not.
Yeah, I feel like it just sort of died when she lost interest, which was several months before she
Yeah,
quit.
I can't remember the name of it, but I can look into it.
Yeah, I'd be curious, I'm not expecting the answer tonight, but she was setting up it's an emergency, no, it wasn't email based, it was
It was
phone
text,
based on
yeah,
text.
I think there was something in the binder, it was like a text alerting.
Yes.
Yeah,
Something.
and we were trying to get people to sign up, we had a sheet out front, and
Yeah,
I don't think it ever got,
I don't think we got a lot.
I remember seeing something in the binder, but it was, you had to pay for the service. And you had to have so many before they would
activated.
Yeah, so that may have been what happened, we just didn't get enough people to sign up for
We're
it.
not paying any bills on it, have we been?
No.
No, so I don't know whether it's worth it, not worth it.
$20 and it gave us X amount of
Right.
text that would last us forever because we didn't have enough people to sign up. I don't know, I'll try to look more into it.
Yeah, or maybe the county knows. I can't remember, but
Well, and the county does have a phone notification tree, that they can do it by zip code, by street, so it might even be duplicative.
yeah, so just something to look into, and you may say, oh, this isn't worth the effort, it's complicated and. But if you could give us, let us get back to us on that, no, I don't mean tomorrow, but sometime. We all set?
Rachel had her hand up, but I guess she put it down.
Oh, are you all set?
I am also.
Okay, and you're still with the fire department, right?
And the email.
Oh, you're in?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. So there's a real plug in there, which is
Yeah.
great. Yeah, I'm not sure we've ever had that, have we?
Yeah, we did.
I think who?
Willard Brown.
Will it?
He was the EMA director and at one time he was the ambulance director and he was a fire chief.
Fire chief, yeah. But I mean, really, that's great to have that tie-in with the fire department EMS because, I mean, yeah, EMS, because that. I mean, that's really what, we don't have an EMS department, so to speak, you know, with 20 employees or something, so. Okay, great,
Alright.
thank you very much.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks for stepping up too.
Yes, no problem, thank you.
Okay. Let me jump back to the adjustments, because we tend to forget those if we don't do them right away. We received word, or I received word along with Kevin Bunker and Candace Smith, who were the co-chairs of the facilities committee, which I forwarded to you and Jen and Terry, I believe. That the application that the town submitted, that where the facilities committee did all the work. Was included in one of Representative Pingree 15 projects. Which doesn't mean it's funded, as we all know last year, they ended up not funding any. But it's certainly better than not being in the 15, because then you know you wouldn't be funded, so. So this kind of brings us back to where we were exactly 2 years ago. Before we changed course. And I plan on going to the facilities meeting on the 4th briefly. And I'm sure that'll be a topic of discussion, but I just wanted to kind of publicly announce that and thank the Congresswoman and her staff and we'll see what it leads to. We had a Zoom call with the local staff, the staff person in Washington, who was Chelsea. You were there, right?
Yeah.
Me, Kevin and Candace. And they were very clear that it's a very fluid time in Washington, and so don't take this to the bank, right? So, but it also means if we do get it, we're gonna have to, we as a town and the facilities committee, and with hopefully some support from the private nonprofit auxiliary, are gonna have to start taking some serious fundraising efforts to close the gap. I don't believe we've heard anything from Senator King or Senator Collins' office. I haven't, have you?
I have,
And I haven't seen anything, so. Which were the two other applications we put in. They used to be known as earmarks. For those people out there. Okay, heating oil, well, heating fuel. Is that in the handout back on? I'll be honest with you, I didn't get to that this weekend.
It is.
No, or is it? I thought you were gonna give us something.
It is, but I also have a copy right here for you.
Well, I don't know if I need another one, but all right.
There's that for you. All right.
So Chris Seavey reached out to you, is that, or out to Terry?
Reached out to Terry, I emailed him today, of course, he's out till tomorrow, but I did get through. To, someone at the office. And basically it was a Susan Page, who's the president.
Yeah,
She basically says, hello, I checked in, and unfortunately, these rates are not locked in. He must have not received a green light. Not to worry, though. We can get that price locked in for fuel oil. However, propane, it says propane costs have gone up. Markets were closed by the time, she got back to me. It was 2:11 p.m. today. So when the markets open up at 9 o'clock tomorrow, we're gonna get fuel oil locked in. She's gonna see what propane is at. And then when she talks with Chris first thing in the morning, they'll get in touch and get me locked in with propane.
well, I guess the question is,
Right.
do we want to do that?
Exactly.
What are we paying this year?
Probably 3 something.
You knew I was gonna ask that
Right,
question.
yeah, but I don't. I can go find out.
I'd be curious.
Okay.
But I think it's considerably more than this.
Yes, I'm positive it is.
So the fuel oil, they'll hold tomorrow morning at 2.649,
Mm-hmm.
and the propane has gone up.
Yeah, they didn't say considerably, they just said the market has gone up, and so at 9, when the market opens, she or Chris will let me know what that amount is.
I know what Chris was today. So something we can move on to real quickly. We don't need Terry for.
I can tell you a little bit about the solar
Yeah,
information.
Sure, yeah, let's do that.
The only thing that we've gotten this far on the solar is we know that we need a 990T at this point, so, it's taken Terry, hours upon hours to get to that point. And so I looked over the 990T. We know that that's the accurate form that we need to get that, solar rebate. But upon looking deeper into the 990T, it also looks like to do that, we also need to fill out a form 3800, which is a general business credit. And then to do that, we need to fill out a 3468. So, which is an investment credit. So we're getting further. It just takes a lot of man hours to get to that point. So I've learned more about the IRS and tax forms in the last 3 days than I ever have in my last 50 or so. So we're getting further along, but we're on the right path. So,
Good.
Yeah.
And this was for the grant that was gonna cost us no money or no staff time.
Right.
You know, right now it's just causing, tired eyes and
Yeah.
brain cells, but at least we're on the right path. And then we have not heard anything yet back from FEMA.
But we
there's-
haven't heard that they pulled it or something.
No, not
The
have.
last I heard was just that it's been processed and they're gonna cut the check.
They're gonna cut the check. We're just
Yeah.
in a waiting period.
But again, I don't hold my breath on any of this stuff these days and.
No,
Yeah.
no, not at all. So.
Okay. Well, let's jump into the warrant real quick and I'll go over the one,
Okay.
item that I requested changed. And then we can come back to this, but if you go to Article. $18, it used to read to see if the town will vote to authorize the select board to accept a deed. And we were hoping to talk with the attorney who's volunteering on this. Before we actually had to sign this, we didn't get to do that. So I'm suggesting that we put in the word a corrective deed or other appropriate instrument. These are kind of minor changes to the restrictions that came with that land. But the other question that I thought about after I did this morning. Is we self-imposed on the Klein property, and perhaps I should wait for Terry on this. The same restrictions that were in the Smith property, and now we're changing the Smith property. Combining the lots all into one, which a previous article does. Do we also want to add a warrant article? That changes those. Conditions, or do we just wanna? I mean, the bulk of it is the Smith property, where the Klein property is a minor piece compared to this, but. And. So, but that's a question, but we can always do that later too, at a special town meeting. Terry, we're done with solar and FEMA. And we jumped into town warrant, but we'll go back to this now that you're gonna.
Why does it say our meeting is gonna end in 10 minutes?
I don't know.
It's never said that.
Probably because Zoom, if you do Zoom regular, now they have limited people to 40 minutes. Unless you go into Zoom Pro, and you have to pay more for that now.
We've never done this. I mean, we've never.
Really, a year ago, Zoom.
Well, let's take advantage of the 10 minutes
Yeah.
quickly, okay?
Okay.
Okay.
Propane 193. And heating oil 264.
Oh, heating oil was the same.
Wow, that really surprises.
Well, I would make a motion that we authorize the town administrator to lock in, provided. The propane is no more than we're paying this year.
Okay.
I'll
Is
second.
there a
that.
second?
Yep. Second.
Discussion? All those in favor? So I outlined. The changes I talked about in the warrant,
Mhm.
but then, yeah, one thing always leads to another, Terry. Because then I remembered, well, after we accepted the Smiths at the last town meeting of the one before. Although the Klein property came with no conditions. We self-imposed, the town meeting self-imposed conditions on those two parcels that were similar to the Smiths. And now we're changing the Smiths. But we don't have anything that changes what we self-imposed on the. So I guess we have, in my opinion, two options. One, we can try to type something up and work it in here tonight, or we can have a little special 5-minute town meeting piggyback on a select board meeting at some point in time. Or we can ignore it, and 50 years from now, no one's gonna.
Well, and that,
We should correct it, I think, personally. but-
I think we should too, but I'm not. Special town meetings are for things just like that. It's an administrative correction. And so I'm not in a hurry to do it.
So am I hearing a motion that we approve the changes written in this draft article regarding the Smith property? And, that's the motion, and then put on a future meeting, the adjusting the, and this is not part of the motion, but adjusting the conditions pending the outcome of the town meeting as well from the Smith property.
Yes, yeah, I'll make that motion and to execute the warrant with those corrections.
Okay. Further discussion? I see Terry Baines is gonna post it. She's no longer the town clerk, so.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
so
was
it's like,
wondering.
well, okay, I guess I can do that.
So just so everybody knows, it's a bifurcated meeting. It actually opens on June 10th here at 8 in the morning.
Mhm.
We elect a moderator. And then we vote on electing at the polls a select board member who also serves as an assessor and an overseer of the poor. And we also elect, by written ballot at the polls, a board of directors. Then we reconvene the 17th in the evening at Owl's Head at 7.
Yeah.
And deal with Article 4 through whatever. 25, 26. Did we vote on your motion?
We have not yet.
Okay, further discussion? All those in favor of Jeff's motion? Aye. To those people in the audience, we're gonna lose the Zoom very quickly. They evidently have a new policy where, so if you're sitting here because you want to hear about any particular item that's on the agenda, let me know and I'll go to it right now.
Nope.
If you're just sitting as a general observer, we'll continue along, okay.
Thank you.
So we've done the warrant, we've done. All right, we have a liquor license application. From George's River Land Trust. To June 25th, it's a fundraiser to be held at Saltwater Fields. They've never come here before, so our policy is they being George's River Land Trust. Our policy is that the first time through, you gotta come here to the select board and then the town administrator can deal with them. After that, provided there's no issues or complaints or. Well, I shouldn't say no issues or complaints, but nothing of significant.
I'd make a motion to approve the Georges River Land Trust application for a liquor license.
I'll second that. Further discussion? All those in favor? We have discussion with the library and community Senate Director, which is a possible executive session. I don't see Penny here yet, so I'll skip that, and that'll be an executive session anyways. We have no monthly reports because it's. We already had it for this month. There are no appointments.
I think there's one,
Okay, there is?
Susan Akers.
No,
You just wanted to, that was.
Oh, pardon.
Yeah, because we had two.
Participate.
she applied, but there's no vacancies on that, and we actually had 2 people who had applied. So we actually have 3 people in that pool, but there's no vacancies. No donations. We have warrant 78, 79, 80, and 81 that need to be approved. Those are payroll and or accounts payable. We have the correspondence from Susan Aker, which we just talked about. We have a correspondence from Sweetser, their annual report. We do have a public hearing scheduled for June 3rd. We have to have the public hearing for the moratorium, the mineral extraction moratorium. But we also have on the agenda the information regarding the proposed revaluation that's on the warrant. Information regarding the 3 articles dealing with the forest reserve. And then any general questions on the budget or any of the procedural matters. The annual town meeting is June 17th. And we have a June 24th select board meeting. And we will need to ascertain before then, anybody whose appointments are expiring, if they wish to be reappointed. That's typically a job I think Hannah tackles.
Yeah.
Cause we don't wanna just assume someone's appointment is
Right.
up and they wanna be reappointed.